He goes, Sri Lakshmi got married to Gopi Kannan and they lived in a little town in South India. A very happy couple, pious, God fearing. And a year later, they were blessed with a baby girl. They named her Saraswati and they were very happy with her. The little girl was the apple of their eye, so beautiful. Days passed by. Saraswati was now around 3 years when she was blessed with a baby sister, Gayatri. The family of four were so happy, so happy. But as days went by, Sri Lakshmi looked at uh, Gopi Kannan with a vacuum. They felt there was a vacuum. And Gopi Kannan understood, yes, we want a baby boy, a boy. So they went to all the temples praying to God, please grant us a baby boy. And of course, God gave them a baby boy when Gayatri was just 3 years old. He was called Venkat and they used to call him Venkutu. It was a happy family and the children started going to school. Venkutu was now 6 years old. This is the time something happened there. That day, the girls had left for school and they were supposed to come a bit late. Venkutu also had gone to school, but he came a bit early, being a smaller, younger kid. And Gopi Kannan was in his office. He had gone to office. Sri Lakshmi loved to stitch, and she stitched frocks for her daughters. And she now wanted to stitch a shirt for her baby Venkutu. She was excited because his birthday was due in a month's time and she wanted to stitch a beautiful shirt. She picked up that lovely piece of cloth which he had bought. Venkutu was playing outside. She folded the cloth, creased it, and took her scissors and she wanted to cut it. Hey, Venkutu, come here, she called Venkutu. The little boy Venkutu, the ever naughty Venkutu, came running. Just hold on to this end, she said. I want to cut this piece of cloth. Be careful. It's a sharp scissor. Be careful with your hands. Yes, Mama, said Venkutu and held on to that piece of cloth carefully, carefully, so that the scissors should not hit his hand. But as Sri Lakshmi was placed the scissors on the other end, Venkutu looked. Ah, it's so exciting to see that shining scissors come through. And he looked. Sri Lakshmi, in her excitement of cutting the cloth, didn't realize that that scissors had got into the left eye of Venkutu. They were screaming all over the place. Who was screaming? Was Sri Lakshmi screaming or was the baby Venkutu screaming? The neighbors came running and they took the baby, the little boy, to the hospital, followed by Sri Lakshmi in a daze. The daughters were called, husband came, everything happened. And yes, Venkutu had lost his left eye. But as children, they took it in their stride. He took it in his stride, and life started moving. Normal lifestyle for the family. But Sri Lakshmi couldn't talk to Venkutu properly. She couldn't connect with Venkutu. And Venkutu looked at his mother with hatred. Gopikannan was the bridge between Venkutu and Sri Lakshmi. Days went by, years went by. Now, Venkutu was a young man, an engineer, and he was working. His two sisters had got married and they had left. And Gopikannan passed away. Now, Sri Lakshmi was under the care of Venkutu. But of course, Venkutu was duty bound and he took care of Sri Lakshmi, gave her all comforts, but never ever looked at her with love. She wanted to tell Venkutu, I'm sorry, it was my mistake. But the adult in her told her, I was not at fault. I had told Venkutu that he should have been careful. Venkutu sometimes looked at his mother and wondered, as children, were we not taught to say sorry when somebody hurt us? Couldn't she tell sorry to me? Yes, Venkutu got married. He got a boy. But Sri Lakshmi was not allowed to connect with her grandchild much. She had all the comforts, but no, she couldn't talk to her grandson. The house, there were no scissors, only two which were kept under lock and key. Sri Lakshmi looked at Venkutu, wondering, shall I tell sorry? No, I am the adult. I can't tell sorry. I was never ever at fault. Yes, days again, years passed by, and his grandson became a young man and he got married. Sri Lakshmi was bedridden and Venkutu came and gave the news that he got a grandchild. She looked at him and said, I want to see the grandchild. Venkutu just looked at her and went away. Now, Sri Lakshmi was in her last days. And one day, Venkutu came in with the grandchild in his hand, looked at his mother with the same expression of hatred. Sri Lakshmi, and he turned to go away. When Sri Lakshmi caught hold of his hand, pulled, and looked at him and said, I'm sorry. It was my mistake. One tear rolled down Venkutu's eyes. He gave his great grandchild to his mother. It was as though there was light in the room. The adult had become the child, and the child had become the adult. Yeah. This story is written by Eswaran, who incidentally happens to be my husband. He had written this story, and I was looking out for what type of stories to tell, and so this story I connected because I feel that that good word, sorry, we forget as we grow older.
Thank
Very
you.
nice.
The story for
Beautiful.
me gave, I really saw the human condition playing out, and that we somehow believe we have, as human beings, can't make mistakes. And so that's why you can't say sorry, because we've never made a mistake. So there can't be a sorry. And as we get older, you're absolutely right. It's harder to do that. And that the redemption in this, two things. This is truly happened, and that it really did occur where the person could find the forgiveness for themselves to be not perfect, because that's where sorry comes from, right? You forgive yourself first,
Yes.
and then you can let someone else know. So I thank you for such a deep story.
Thank you.
Hi, Parvati.
I,
Hi. It's beautiful story as usual. Love the way you narrated it, and
thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Um,